Do you think Earrings Off hosts Lou and Teresa are excited at the possibility that Vice President Kamala Harris might be elected president? Well, let's see. In 1989, Trump took out full page ads in several New York City newspapers calling for the death penalty for the Central Park Five, teenagers who were wrongfully accused and later exonerated of the rape of a jogger. Trump continued to insist on their guilt despite DNA evidence and a confession from the actual perpetrator. In the 1970s, the Trump family real estate company was sued by the Justice Department for refusing to rent apartments to black people. Trump was also the main proponent of the false conspiracy theory that questioned whether Barack Obama, our first black president, was actually born in the United States. In a 2018 meeting, Trump reportedly referred to African nations and Haiti as shithole countries. So again, do you think the Earrings Off hosts are hopeful? You betcha.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa.
Well, good morning, partner. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Same. I told you I lifted up a piece of furniture, Teresa, what I'm so bothered by. It wasn't even that big,
Mm-hmm.
and I threw my back out. I've been in pain for almost 2 weeks. I was so annoyed.
Oh
And,
my.
I've been trying to do different things to it, to rehab it and all of that. But I am telling you, I was in some type of pain, but I'm finally feeling a little better. It's just was a reminder that as I age, something simple tasks that I used to do without even thinking about it had just require more thought in terms of my movement, how I'm bending, what I'm doing to be more intentional about taking care of myself as I go through everyday tasks. And I just can't believe that happened.
Right. Did you bend your knees, Lou?
No, I did not, and that started but Teresa, it really wasn't that heavy. I didn't even think I needed to be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
but won't make that mistake again. So yeah, yeah.
Well, is it the fact that you won't move the furniture yourself? Because you know
Hey,
how.
hey, 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 hey. Okay, wait a minute. First of all, since you know me so well and you called me on it, it wasn't a piece of furniture, it was a little file cabinet.
Oh,
And
upsetting,
I took some of the files out, but I was too lazy to take the rest of them out. So there you have it. Yeah, you know me
No,
quite well. You know I'm not really doing a whole lot of manual stuff, but
that's
that's
right.
my
That's right.
business. That's my business.
That's right. And we should all be so lucky, right?
Well, people have different priorities. It's like I tell people in my inner circle, you might pay for a lot of things. I pay for comfort. I don't believe in taxing myself so much. So if it requires I write a check, that's what I do. And if it requires that's one less bag or shoes, or then that's the kind of person I am. And I don't
That's
care
right.
about that
That's
stuff
right.
as
That's
much.
right. And it's
So
your business.
don't
That's what
try
you
to
said.
throw shade when I have
Not
different
throwing shade at
priorities.
all. Not
Whatever,
throwing.
whatever. Anyway, we actually got other stuff to talk about today. See, there you go. But Teresa, can you believe the week we've had
Oh
Biden,
my gosh.
President Biden dropping out? And when it happened, I used to work with politicians, so I really don't take that lightly, what he did. I mean, can you imagine even though people were calling on him, that was his decision. But that's huge for him to make that kind of decision and to drop out of the race. I just applaud his love for this country. I really do.
You know, um, I just feel like um, I'm just mad that he was put in that situation from the start because of his age, right? I don't know if this is going to be a precedent or not. Um, sure, we saw some deficits in the debate. We did. Um, he's not as sharp. Clearly, he's not as sharp as he once was. Um, that's what that that's what that debate showed me. But elder, I almost said abuse, but it's not, but discrimination or whatever
Mm.
is real in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
he's what is he 80
I think
something?
so.
I
80 or
can't,
81.
yeah,
Something yeah.
81 or something like that. But it starts even earlier than that and some in
Yeah.
corporate America. And it's quite unfair,
Yeah.
and it's a bigger conversation, if you will.
Well,
And you're right. You're right.
that's
I'm
right.
sorry. I felt bad for him. I think he's done a lot of great things, and I know that like you, I know, and everybody else who has talked about it feel like I feel the same way.
It
It
was rough.
had to be the toughest decision he had to make, but he did it for the country.
But you bring up a good point about how we view the elderly and sort of place them under a microscope. But I looked at something else because I think too there was an assessment of his performance, but he stutters. And my brother used to stutter, I mean, when he was younger. And sometimes I think when you just have a problem with communicating, that people judge you. And unfairly, as a result of that, maybe they place so much of an emphasis on the way he was communicating. And saying that that was some type of cognitive deficit when really he has an issue with that. And sometimes people are just not patient when you have um, any type of issue that you're trying to
That's right.
deal
The
with in a public forum. Because I remember from my brother does not stutter now, but when we were younger, and he would stutter and people were impatient, you know, and people attach, um, some type of deficit to that simply because you have, you're not able to get your words out. And I think that that was part of it as well. And maybe it wasn't, but that's what I saw. Maybe that bothered me because of I thought
your own
back to what
personal.
I thought
Mhm.
back to what I saw with my own relative and how people reacted. But we do have some good news in that Vice President Kamala Harris appears poised to get the nomination to run as the Democratic candidate for the presidency. So lot of excitement around that. Um,
I
and
mean,
so, yeah,
2 weeks ago we get an attempted assassination,
I
and then
know,
the
right?
following week
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
I'm watching a volley, like
yeah,
what's gonna
yeah,
be next. But I am sitting on pins and needles waiting to see who she chooses
yeah, that's right.
as
Yeah, so
her
am I. So am I.
VP.
Yeah, I've
Um,
looked over some of the people, and there are so many names floating out there, but I hope it's a solid choice and that,
yeah.
it's a good ticket. But I tell you, I thought about, did you see what Trump's Vice President JD Vance said about her and other women who don't have children?
OMG.
Called them miserable cat ladies. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
this
He,
and
d- I think to be he said that it wasn't recent, right? Like this was something he said previously,
yeah,
but he feels that way. I
right,
honestly, if you look at into his, he feels that way. But so much is coming out about him.
yeah,
I don't think they vetted him well. And this young man, I'm no doctor, but I agree with, I didn't even read the story, but it was a headline that there was some trauma in his childhood.
mhm,
And apparently it's coming out through his politics. And I- you know,
yeah. It's some scary
I
stuff.
I don't know. I don't know. He's an interesting, though I'm sure very smart. He's what, Yale or Harvard educated. I
Yeah,
can't remember which.
yeah.
Uh,
I can't
uh,
remember. I read his book though, but
yeah.
yeah.
You read Hillbilly
I
Elegy?
read his book. So when you talk about trauma, yeah, he had some challenges growing up, and the book was wonderful actually. I mean, it really was. But yeah, I'm listening to him and his comments about
Can we
women.
back up a minute? I'm sorry. Why did you read that?
Well, it was a bestseller. And for
Yeah,
me,
it
I'm
was.
that kind of reader. If it's on
Okay.
the New York Times bestseller list, it's in my queue for me to
Okay.
at least look at it and read it. So yeah, yeah, I read it when it came out.
Yeah, when
hmm
I saw that,
And I don't think I checked it out from the library. I think I bought it. I'll have to, I got my stuff packed up, but I
yeah.
think it might be in my library. So,
Okay.
yeah, Teresa, I'm a reader and
I
creature of
know. I
habit. If
am
it's on
too,
the New
but
York
we
Times
just, yeah.
bestseller list, I'm checking it out. But anyway, when I saw that, but what I loved, I did not like his comments, but I think her name is Kirsten Imhoff, the ex-wife of the vice president's husband, Doug.
Okay. Hmm.
She came out and made a strong statement about the fact that the vice president is not childless. She's a stepmother to two children, and they love her, and she's an integral part of their family.
Oh.
And it was, I'm telling you,
Oh.
her statement was just perfect. She said, no, they co-parent, the three of them,
Hmm.
and that the vice president is a present parent for them. She's loyal, fiercely protective, loving, and she is always involved with them. And then the her stepdaughter made a statement as well and said, I don't know what they're talking about. She's childish because she's got two kids, us.
Oh, wow.
And I
I didn't
loved it.
hear that.
Oh
I did
yeah, I
not
loved
hear
it. And
that.
so it was just I loved the way that they shared that and responded and to just to be aware of the energy and the hope. So it's a lot going on and I'm on pins and needles not only about the vice president's pick but also just hoping that we're going to see some better times and certainly hope Trump is recovering as well. But
Yeah,
Teresa,
me too.
I read something else recently. Now, you and I talk a lot about the health of African American women.
Hmm.
Um, and we talk about how, of course, in that demographic, we are more likely to have strokes. We die at a younger age than other women. But there's this group, I don't know if you heard about it, and you might have Girl Trek.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah,
I'm very
yeah, the
familiar.
walking group. Yeah.
Yes.
So they're doing some great things with
Hmm.
women. And the founders, Vanessa Garrison and Morgan Dixon, said that um, they are not walking enthusiasts, that was not their thing, but they were trying to save their own lives and
Yeah.
wanted to include other women in something as simple as walking. And I think you and I have talked about that, or you mentioned that
Oh, I've
before.
walked with them before.
Have you really?
They walk
Go
for a
ahead.
purpose.
Yeah.
they walk for a purpose, and I definitely am subscribed to them. I get
Wow.
their email newsletter. But yeah, it's a great thing that they're doing. It's growing leaps and bounds. I think no, I was just gonna say I think I read recently that they just bought a facility in Washington, D.C.
Really? I
Hmm.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of jumped out at me because I mentioned earlier I hurt my back. And I was just in pain, but I figured out that what I needed to do was lay off my normal workout schedule. But I didn't want to not do anything. So I just walked just for a few minutes. Didn't have wasn't a fast pace, but every day I just said, okay, you're going to walk 20, 30 minutes. You're not going to do a whole lot. And so when we talk about moving, many times we can get caught up into our own routines or thinking it has to be something strenuous. Let's not forget that just moving, just walking can has so many benefits and it's many times it's less taxing than a lot of other things that we do. And I am telling you, today is the first time that I felt better with my back, and I attribute that to me laying off of my regular stuff and just walking for 20 minutes or so this weekend. I was at a very slow pace. I was on the treadmill. I kept it at about 3.0. Sometimes I went more, but I just talk to myself and say, no, don't do it. Don't ramp it up. You're trying to recover. And we have to remember that it's okay to take a slower pace, not only when we're trying to heal from something, but even in our normal activities, to just say, okay, this is a starting point, and this is what I'm going to do. So I love what they are doing. Should have known that my partner was already on it. That's good stuff.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, Lou, that's a word right there. Slow and steady wins the
Yeah.
race. You know,
Yeah.
even if you're, like you said, even if you're not nursing, because nursing an injury, but because, and I say this because, especially if you're starting an exercise routine,
Yeah.
a lot of these exercise enthusiasts that we do follow, like they're like, go in, do it, and just go, go,
Right,
go,
right,
go,
right,
go.
right, right. Yeah.
But if you're just starting, that can kind of put you off, right? So
Right,
slow and steady, 30
right,
minutes, 30
right,
minutes a day,
right.
or start out with 10 minutes, then
Yeah.
increase to 15, 20, 30, and just go do what your body will allow you to do, but do
Right,
something, right? Like just
right.
do something.
Yeah, yeah, so true.
Mhm.
And of course, the Olympics
Oh,
started yesterday. Did you
yeah.
see any of the opening
I
ceremony?
did. I did.
Yes,
I saw a little bit at the beginning, and then I saw the ending.
yeah. I was a little. It was wonderful opening ceremony, but I was a little disappointed because I kept trying to. I always love to see the United States. I
Uh-huh.
mean, that's what I'm living for in the opening
Right? Of
ceremony.
course.
And I saw, but they didn't really keep the camera on them that much. And I was disappointed.
Well, I think what we're accustomed to is seeing people enter into a stadium,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this was very different than that,
It was
right? And
beautiful. Yeah,
it was different, and it was so creative.
yeah,
I
it
haven't
was.
looked at any of the comments that people made about it, but for me, whoever did it, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it was very, very creative. Um,
It was. It really
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And you're right, but I'm telling you, Teresa, I looked at many other countries. I think they had the camera on them a little longer. It wasn't that they were, I'm telling you, I was like, what? Is that it? But it's so exciting. When I look at those athletes, I just think about, oh my goodness, how much of a sacrifice have they made all their lives to train and to be consistent and to be disciplined to get to that point where you represent your country in the Olympics.
Is it a
That just
sacrifice or a
blows.
labor of love?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm
You know,
sure.
because I think athletes love what they do. They, I think,
Well,
I don't think, I don't, I guess when you
I
think
think
about they could have been out with their friends at 16, partying it up, and drinking and having that kind of fun. But
right.
is it really,
Nah,
right?
I think
Yeah.
it's a sacrifice too, because
Yeah.
Teresa, you and I mean, we love working out, but you have days you don't want to go. You have days you just don't
Yeah.
feel like that. And
Yeah.
for the greater good, you push through. And I think now I'm not comparing myself at all to an athlete. Okay, let's get that straight. But I'm just saying, even on that level, it happens. So there is a lot of sacrifice and discipline to get to that level. It's certainly skill, but it is just something to see. And I just applaud them, and it just makes me so proud.
Oh,
But
it
I tell you,
does.
also, when I was sitting up there, when I was watching, I was thinking, yeah, like I said earlier, I may not be into a lot of the bags and I look at all of that. But when they were showing shots of Paris, I was thinking, I was there. I went there. Oh, I recognize that. Travel opens up your mind. So it
Someone,
just
oh my
does.
goodness, Lou, did
It-
someone we interviewed recently just said that? Who was
It's,
that?
it's,
You remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Was it Chantel? I can't remember.
I can't remember,
She
but
was an
it,
author. I remember
it,
her saying
it
that.
really does. I am telling you, traveling, it just energizes you to
Yeah,
be in a different place.
yeah.
And I think it makes you sharper because you're out of your element. You hear different languages. You are trying to keep up.
Hmm.
And different countries have so many different abilities or strengths that you sometimes don't recognize when we're isolated here in the US.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was thinking, you know what? It's costly. You have to plan for it, but there is nothing like seeing the world. Nothing.
Girl, I
So,
thought because you started out talking about bags and stuff, I thought were talking about those shots of them making those LV um cases. What are they
oh
called?
yeah, I didn't
Trunks.
see that. I didn't
Oh
see
my
that.
gosh,
I
girl.
didn't see
I
that.
am not one to, have to have designer this or
Yeah.
that, but just to see the process of making those Louis Vuitton um uh trunks, it
Yeah.
was amazing. I was like, I think I want that. And of course, I need to start little with like maybe a 2 inch or
You
a
can
six
do it,
inch
partner.
6 inch purse,
Well,
not a however many
well,
inches trunk.
but I do believe life is worth living. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's for us to
Oh
live
yeah.
because
Oh
what
yeah.
I've done, if I do something that I think is worthy of celebration, I treat myself to something.
Yeah.
When I recently looked at the calendar and confirmed that I've been doing yoga for 10 years, I treated myself to a piece of jewelry,
Yeah.
because that was hard for me. It may not have been hard for
Yeah.
anybody else, but it was hard for me and I did it. And
Yeah.
so
That
yeah, so that's
sacrifice.
that's the kind of thing you try to balance it out. But I tell you, I'm excited about the Olympics and just ready, trying to jot things on my calendar so I don't miss things that I know I want to catch. So
Well,
yeah.
living in this house, I will not miss any track and field.
Really? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what these guys, that's what they're
Oh, that's good
way
stuff.
into.
That's
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I love it all. I love it
Oh
all.
yeah.
Somebody said to me yesterday, "Will you be watching do you watch the Olympics? And what do you watch?" I said, "If I could, I would watch it all."
Yeah.
I'm
I
so
just flip back
fascinated.
and forth
Yeah.
trying to catch everything. I know, of course, I don't want to miss any of the basketball. And there are a lot of events I want to catch: swimming, soccer, all of
Oh,
that. So
all of it. All
yeah,
of
like
it.
you say, all of it. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm there for
and you
all of
know
it.
what? We with us being in these times where it is so heavy, heavy in the world, not just in the US. it is such a welcome uh, distraction or such a welcome time for us to have something to make us remember good stuff and to feel proud and to feel excited and to feel hopeful. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
Lou,
about this time.
I am excited about this time, and I agree with all the sentiment that you just shared, but it got off to a rocky start when I heard in the
Yeah,
news that someone had damaged or one of
yeah,
the railways. I was like,
yeah,
please
yeah.
don't hurt these kids.
Well, and I'll tell you, yeah, that's the other thing. We just
Don't make a
pray.
political statement by
Yeah,
hurting these children,
I
you
know.
know?
You're
I mean,
so
well,
right.
they're adults. I mean,
Yeah,
some of them are adults,
yeah.
some are children, but good Lord. I
Yeah,
mean,
you think about that too,
yeah.
concerned about the safety, particularly with that size of an event. So,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely praying that everyone is safe
Safe.
and that we
Yes.
have a good Olympics. So, all
Hmm.
our very best to all the athletes across the world, but most importantly, to our very own, those who represent the good old United States of
Go
America.
USA.
Yes, that's it for us today, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, at all times, stay hopeful.